welcome back to the deep dive. If you're like us, you're constantly coming across great stuff online. Maybe a brilliant thread on X or a really deep analysis of something.
Or a tutorial you swear you'll use later.
Exactly. And you hit save or bookmark, meaning to go back, and then poof, they just vanish into that digital graveyard, right?
Oh.
Forgotten.
Completely. It's a universal black hole for good intentions.
Well, today we're digging into a potential fix. We're looking at the 16th issue of the biweekly work journal Thinking in Public by Alperin. It laid out this specific and kind of elegant solution to that exact problem.
Yeah, it's neat.
So our mission today is to unpack how this workflow, which seems simple on the surface, can actually turn that passive saving habit into something more like an active learning system.
It really is a shift in how you handle that information. We're not just talking about, tidying up a list. It's more about automating a kind of discipline. The goal here is using Rube App and an AI like Claude to basically force a weekly review. It takes that pile of saved links and turns it into a personalized, actionable summary that lands right in your inbox.
Okay, I think pretty much everyone listening can relate to that feeling of digital hoarding. We save things with the best intentions, but actually wading back through 50 links, the mental effort is just too much.
It really is. You get this backlog, and eventually you just never even start looking at it again.
Right.
And that's where the payoff of the semi-automation really comes in. The usual way, just bookmarking, is passive storage. You save it and you immediately start forgetting it. But by setting up this automated weekly digest, you're forcing yourself to retrieve and review that information every week. It's like structured, repeated exposure to stuff you thought was important.
So it boosts memory, basically, like spaced repetition almost.
Kind of, yeah. It significantly helps consolidate that information. It's essentially using the AI as a high-powered study buddy that organizes your notes for you.
So the system isn't just spitting out a newsletter, it's providing a kind of forced reflection.
Exactly right. It stops that knowledge from just fading away. And what the source material pointed out, which I found interesting, is that over time, doing this weekly reveals patterns in what you save.
Oh, like what?
Well, you might start noticing, I save a lot about, say, AI governance, but almost nothing about how to actually apply it. That weekly email doesn't just summarize things, it kind of holds up a mirror to your interests and maybe your blind spots.
Ah, okay. So it helps you build up this useful knowledge archive almost without thinking about it, like a database curated by your own clicks.
Precisely. It becomes a reflection of your week, curated by you, delivered to you.
Okay. That definitely makes the effort seem worthwhile.
Yeah.
So let's get into the nuts and bolts, the tech stack. What tools do we actually need to pull this off?
You need 4 main things. First, your X account, obviously. Second, the Gmail account where you want the summary sent. Third, you need a paid account for an AI model that can use external tools. Claude is the example used here. And fourth, the connector service, which in this case is Rube App.
Rube App. Tell us about that. What's its role?
Rube App is really the orchestrator here. It's the middleware, the thing that lets different apps talk to each other. The source mentioned it connects, I think, over 500 different applications now.
Wow, okay.
So its job here is crucial. It's the bridge. It lets Claude access your X bookmarks, and then on the other end, it lets Claude trigger sending an email through your Gmail.
Okay, wait a second. Before we go further, I have to ask about security here. We're talking about linking your social media, your email, to this third-party service, Rube, and then letting an AI, Claude, access things through it. What did the source say about managing that? What should listeners be aware of?
That's a really important point, and yeah, the source did address it. The key thing, and we'll probably mention it again, is being careful about permissions. When you connect X and Gmail to Rube, you have to look closely at exactly what permissions you're granting. For this workflow, Rube needs to read your bookmarks and send emails. You just need to check it's not asking for way more than that.
So, verify the scope.
Exactly. The source emphasized that while these tools are powerful, you, the user, are still responsible for keeping an eye on that data access. It's not just set and forget from a security standpoint.
That's a crucial clarification. Okay, so assuming we're comfortable with the permissions, let's talk about the AI. Why Claude specifically? You mentioned other models like ChatGPT can also use tools if you pay.
Yeah, good question. According to the source, Claude was chosen mainly for reliability in this specific sequence of tasks. While other models can do similar things, Claude apparently performed more consistently when it came to fetching the bookmarks, summarizing them correctly, formatting the output into that newsletter style, and then reliably handling the sending part.
So stability was key for this particular workflow.
It seems so, especially managing that complex formatted output reliably week after week. That was the deciding factor mentioned.
Got it. And the technology making this Claude Rube connection possible is the Model Context Protocol, MCP.
Correct. MCP is like the underlying language or framework. It lets the AI Claude here use Rube dynamically as if it were one of its own tools.
So it's not just reading text, it's actually doing things.
Exactly. Instead of just generating text based on what you typed, MCP allows Claude to essentially say, okay, I need outside info. Rube, go get the bookmarks from the last week. Then Claude processes that data Rube brings back. That dynamic tool use is what makes these kinds of multi-step automations work.
Okay, that clears up the tech side. Let's move into how you actually set this up. Instead of just listing steps like a manual, maybe we can think about it in phases, like connecting, instructing, and then activating.
Yeah, that works. Phase 1 would be the connection phase. That's signing up for Rube, connecting your X and Gmail accounts, which the source says is pretty quick. And crucially, connecting Rube App's MCP server to Claude. You do this in your Rube App profile. There's a section like Add Rube to with instructions. You're essentially generating credentials, an MCP server link that tells Claude, here's how you talk to my Rube apps.
Right, so you're establishing that secure pathway first.
Yep. Once that connection's solid, you move to phase 2, the instruction phase, which happens inside Claude.
This is where you tell it what you want it to do.
Exactly. And this involves using a feature in Claude Desktop called projects. Think of a project like a dedicated workspace for a specific ongoing task.
Okay.
It's where you put all the detailed instructions and rules. The source provides a prompt template for this. You paste that template into the project's instruction section. The key benefit is the AI remembers those complex rules every time you use that project, even weeks later.
Ah, so you don't have to paste a giant wall of text every single week. That makes sense. What kind of instructions are in that main template?
It's the whole blueprint. It tells Claude things like, use Rube to get X bookmarks from the last 7 days. Group them by topic. Write a short, maybe 50-word summary for each group. Add a headline. Format the whole thing as a clean HTML email digest. Send it via Gmail using Rube. It covers retrieval, processing, formatting, and delivery.
That's pretty comprehensive. Okay, so connections are made, instructions are loaded. Phase 3 must be activation, actually running it each week.
Right. Now you use the system. Every week you just open a new chat within that specific project you created, like X bookmark mate or whatever you called it.
Within the project, okay.
And here's the critical little step that's easy to miss. In that new chat window, you have to make sure the Rube App MCP tool is toggled on. It's usually under a section called something like Search and Tools.
That toggle is like flipping the main power switch for the connection.
Exactly. That tells Claude, okay, for this conversation, you can use Rube. Once that's on, you paste in the second, much shorter prompt template. This one just has the specifics, maybe the exact date range if you need it, and your email address. Hit send.
And then? Magic!
Pretty much. Claude connects to Rube, pulls the bookmarks, processes them based on those detailed instructions stored in the project, and gets the email ready.
And does the email just show up? Is it totally hands-off at that point?
Almost. The source noted something practical. Sometimes Claude might pause and show you the draft email, asking for a final okay before it actually tells Rube to send it to your Gmail.
Oh, like a confirmation step.
Yeah, which is actually quite sensible. A good safety check. It gives you a quick chance to scan it, make sure it looks right before it goes out. You confirm, and boom, the digest is sent. It turns what could be a half-hour organizing task into just a couple of clicks each week.
The time saving alone sounds pretty compelling. Now, you mentioned Rube connects like 500 apps. This whole idea can't just be limited to X and Gmail, right?
Absolutely not. The underlying principle, using Rube to fetch data from one service and having an AI process it and send it somewhere else that could work with tons of things.
Like what else?
Well, imagine doing this with Notion. Maybe compiling all your new notes or updated pages from the week into a summary. Or summarizing articles you saved on LinkedIn. Or maybe even, depending on what data Rube can access, a digest of posts you liked on Instagram or TikTok. The source specifically mentions Rube supports things like Notion, LinkedIn, Outlook, Airtable.
Okay, so this could be applied to work knowledge too, not just social media, like a weekly summary of updates in a shared Airtable base or something.
For sure. The possibilities are broad. And this ties into something else the source mentioned, the WhatsApp integration for Rube.
You can chat with Rube through WhatsApp.
Yeah, it offers that as an alternative interface. Instead of always going through Claude or ChatGPT on your desktop, you can interact with your connected apps via WhatsApp messages.
But there was a catch, wasn't there? Something about complexity.
Yes, exactly. They found that the really complex multi-step prompt needed for this detailed newsletter summary, it didn't work reliably through the WhatsApp interface,
Hmm.
probably due to message length limits or just the difficulty of managing that kind of structured output in a chat format.
But simpler stuff worked.
Yeah, simple tasks were fine, like sending a quick email, reading a short one, posting a tweet, or just asking Rube to show you something someone shared with you. Those kinds of single-step actions worked well on WhatsApp. It highlights where the tech is right now.
That makes sense. It shows that this model context protocol, the MCP technology, it's still pretty new and evolving fast. What works smoothly in a dedicated app might still be a bit clunky in a chat interface.
Precisely. Which loops us back perfectly to that note of caution we talked about earlier. Because MCP tech is moving so fast, letting these tools do more and more complex things with your data.
You really need to double-check those permissions.
Yes. We have to repeat the advice from the journal. Before you connect anything, really look at the permissions and scopes being requested. Understand what you're allowing.
Awareness is key. Know what you're sharing and what you're letting the AI do for you.
Definitely.
So pulling it all together, the real benefit we've explored here isn't just about cleaning up old bookmarks. It's about installing a new habit, right? Creating this personalized knowledge engine that actually helps you use what you intended to learn.
Yeah, it shifts you from being just a passive collector of links to an active curator, an automated curator of your own interests. It takes a task that has a lot of friction, organizing those saves, and turns it into something that consistently feeds you back your own curated knowledge. It becomes a mechanism for reflection.
So as you, the listener, think about maybe trying something like this, automating parts of your own information flow, here's a final thought to consider. The source mentioned MCP technology is still young, and Rube connects to hundreds of services.
Yeah, things are changing fast.
So if you can automate summarizing your saved X posts today, how might this evolving MCP tech change how you interact with and learn from, well, all your social media feeds, or maybe even your entire document archive in the coming months or years?
That's a powerful shift to think about. Where could this lead?